4. Oh, hi there. My name is George Lobb, and I'm from the Millennium Masters 4-H Club in Howard County. Today, I'll tell you what you need to know about golf. The first thing you need to know about golf is how you're going to hit the ball. Well, first you're going to need some golf clubs. So what I have here right now is a driver. Drivers come in all different shapes and forms. As you can see right here, we have all the different kinds of drivers. There's tons more, but as you can see, they come in all different shapes. Really, there's no driver that's better than the other ones, but it's just kind of psychological. But first, you always tee off with the driver when it's time to hit the ball. There'll be two tee markers. I'll use these as an example. Right here, here's a tee marker. Here's a tee marker. The ball cannot be ahead of that, because if you have the ball ahead of that, well, you're going to get a penalty, and that's going to make your score a lot higher, which you will not want. Now, you do not always have to tee off with a driver, but it's probably the one you want to use for the farther holes, like par 5s, which the length is a lot farther, because these drivers have a lot less loft, which the loft is the ability to get the ball in the air. A lot less loft means more distance. And when you want to shoot with the club, you want to go like this, back and forward. And as you can see, you want to carry through and go a nice slow backswing, but most important, your belly button is going straight towards your target. Hopefully it'll go straight. I can't guarantee you, because I've had a lot of bad days too. Also, there's fairway woods. Now, fairway woods, they have different kinds of fairway woods. As you can see, I have 3 different kinds of fairway woods. These you can use in the rough, you can use to tee off, and you can use in the fairway. I'll get to the fairway, rough, and the tee box later. And as you can see, they all come on different shapes, forms, and sizes. And you want to use them from a good distance away. You don't want to be real close, because these will hit the ball pretty far, not quite as far as the driver. They have a little more loft than the driver, so they'll get a little higher. So if there's a tree that you can't quite get over with the driver, you will be better off using one of your woods. Now, mid-irons. Mid-irons have a lot higher loft than the woods. And here's an example of some irons I have here. And you pretty much hit them just like the fairway woods, but you don't get to shoot them quite as far as the fairway woods. Now, you want to use them, let's say there's different ways you can use these clubs too. You don't always have to use them the same. There's different grips. Like, for example, let's say you have this tree, and I have a heck of a time trying to get over those trees. I always hit the trees and bounce back, so I don't get anywhere. So what I want to do is I want to grip right down on that club. You don't want to have your hands down here, but right at the end of the grip here. Have your hands forward, go like this, and the ball will go not so high in the air, but you'll get a good distance, and hopefully it'll get nice and close to the hole, just like you want. And then we have the wedges. Wedges have the highest amount of loft. There's different kinds of wedges. I have 3 different kinds of wedges in my bag. Right now, I have a 52 degree, a sand wedge, and a pitching wedge. A sand wedge I usually use in the sand. Sometimes I will use it out of the sand. You don't always have to use it in sand. This has more loft than the pitching wedge, so I'll get it higher in the air, and more loft than my 52 degree. And I think one of the important things you might want to know about the wedges is you got to be careful with them, because if you backswing too far and too forward, you might hit the ball too far, so you just got to be careful. And also, I got putting. Putting is the most important thing in the game of golf, because let me tell you, that adds up your strokes high, because once you get your ball onto the green, you want to get the ball in the hole. And how you do it is by using a putter. Putters come in different shapes and forms. This is kind of my putter I got right here. So a really good thing you want to do is get back. You don't want to go like this, because that ball is just going to go flying right off the green. You want to have a nice stroke back and forward. Sometimes for practice, what I do is when you have straight lines, what works just perfect is practice going back and forth. And hopefully that ball will go straight and into the hole. My goal is usually to get it within 2 putts. If you get it in with 3, then you might have some difficulties. And as you can see here, I've been talking about loft, and right here I got pictures. As you can see right here, this would be a sand wedge. As you can see, it's angled more than on this side. Now this side, this would be a 4-iron, and that will hit a lot lower and farther. So it depends on the loft of the club, how far you want to hit it. Now parts of the golf course, this is very important. There's a fairway. The fairway is the shortest grass except for the green, and it is the ideal spot to hit the ball. If you're teeing off from the tee box, you want to hit onto the fairway. Otherwise, if you're in the rough, that's higher grass and a lot harder to hit from. As the rough has deeper grass. As you can see here, the ball is kind of buried in, so it's a lot harder to hit the ball out. And quite frankly, you just don't want to go in there. And then the greens is where you can only use your putter, and they vary with between size, slope, and sizes, because they can be like monstrous fair greens or they can be small greens. It kind of depends on the course. And here's an example of green I got here. As you can see, it's fully surrounded by water, and on the surrounding the water there is the there's rough surrounding. As you can see how the grass is a lot deeper than the green there. And then now I'd like to say some golf etiquette and rules. Number 1, you cannot have more than 14 clubs in the bag, because heck, you might be able to get away with it in the beginning, but you're not going to get away with it at the end. If you're a first place winner and you win the tournament, they find out you have more than 14 golf clubs, you're done. You played for no reason at all. Also, you don't want to let people that are faster than you go ahead. I have that all the time. I have bad days quite a bit, and I'm just whiffing that ball, barely hitting it, and then there might be some people behind you. You want to show common courtesy and let those people go through. Also, you don't want bad language. If you hit a bad ball, don't say all those bad words, because that just makes a fool out of yourself. And respect other golfers. You got to be quiet when they shoot. In conclusion, you learned about golf clubs, parts of the golf course, and golf etiquette. And I want you to remember one thing: whenever you go out with clubs and stuff, it's not the golf clubs, it's you. That concludes my presentation. Are there any questions? Yes.
What does it cost for all your golf clubs? And if I'm a starter, what do I need?
Okay, what it costs, it varies on cost, because it depends on the brands you want. There's all these brands, and really it doesn't matter what brands. Like right here, I got Wilson. Now, supposedly Callaway and all these other brands are way better, but really, clubs are not only as good as the golfer. So I got these clubs for about $200. You can, and for a set, which is really good, you can get them for $100, or you can spend up to $1,000 on just a set of irons. Also, if you don't buy like a whole set, you can buy the irons, and that will go through pitching wedge, through 4-iron usually. And then if you want to buy a driver, drivers can be more expensive too. You can spend close to $30 to $500 or $600, you know. And really, it doesn't make a big difference. It's just the person. So when you start out, I wouldn't spend a lot of money, because it's just not worth it. I golf for leisure in school. My mom, who taught me how to play golf, which I thank her very much for it, let's just say she calls me a golf addict, because usually I golf 4 to 5 days a week and at least 18 holes a day when I play. So I play quite a bit, and I'm also on the golf team. Thank you guys for coming out.